Good. Calling up. Roger, roll, Atlantic. Water towers, fly! Flight downside, SE off.
Yikes. You bet. Okay. We don't need any more of these.
All right, space fans, if you're looking for some Starship out there today, we're gonna start off a little differently here. Let me know if you can hear me right now. You should have the please stand by screen, and you should be able to hear me. John Gallo with NASA Spaceflight here. That's a good place to start. All right. So let's get some video up on the screen, and here we go. Let's see. All right, video up on the screen. That's what we want, isn't it? Excellent. Welcome, folks, to our Starship SN8 Q&A. A lot of stuff has been going on with Starship in the last couple days. The schedule's moving around like crazy, hops changing all over the map. But we are going to be doing a live Starship SN8 Q&A with the NASA Spaceflight team today, answering questions and letting y'all know what the latest updates are on schedules, in hops, in TFRs, and all the different things that need to happen in order for this thing to fly. And while we're doing this, we're going to have a couple different views from Boca Chica, or from South Padre Island, actually, because this view right here, starting off, you can see this is not one of our normal views. This is a new view, and if you look really hard at the screen, you should be able to see the production facility over there on the right-hand side of your screen, and somewhere out there, I think there's a Starship. So y'all hang on a second. Let's introduce the rest of the people who are on the stream here with us today. And then when we introduce everybody, we'll see if we can get a little bit bigger Starship on the screen. This is going to be fun. So with us here today, back in the studio, we've got Chris Gebhardt. Chris will be doing some Q&A, answering some questions, letting everybody know what's going on. Chris, how are you doing today? What are you up to?
I'm doing fine. I am up to this stream. How about you, Das?
Excellent. I am up to the stream as well. I hope that all these cameras are up to the stream. So Chris Gebhardt.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Chris will be joining us here doing some live Q&A for y'all. Chris, thank you so much. Also back in the studio, we've got Michael Baylor. Michael, are you on comms?
Yes, I am. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully the big event is only a few days away.
Yep. Michael's been wrangling TFRs and will be giving us some updates on the closures and safety notices and that sort of stuff that sort of tip us off as to what may happen when. So we'll get to that in just a minute. And then out there in the field, of course, we've got Mary, Boca Chica gal. She is over in Boca Chica. She's actually in frame right now. Mary is actually in this video somewhere out there. She's like a half of a pixel out there right now. But she is at Boca Chica proper. Of course, when we get those fantastic daily videos and the fantastic close-up live feeds, that is coming from Mary. We'll be checking in with Mary's camera in just a minute. And then also out in the field, also contained in this picture right now, Jack Beyer. Jack, I know your comms were sort of shaky. Do we have you out there?
Hopefully. I don't know if you can hear me okay. Am I a robot or am I a real person?
Well, I don't know if you're a robot or not, but I can hear you. So that was good there, Jack. Thank you so much. Jack is out there building up some experience as well. So,
and Jack, I just want to step in. Is this actual Jack or is this the AI version of Jack that Das and Michael have built?
Yeah, well, so you'll have to ask me a question only real Jack would know.
Only real Jack would know.
What did I drink when we were all hanging out for IFA?
I was just going to offer it bacon.
Yeah, bacon works.
Anyways, y'all, as we were sort of talking about, we're going to be doing some live Q&A. Let's go around and check the horn out. We don't want to miss the sunset, which is coming up in about 15 minutes. But let's see if we can get a little bit closer to Starship here. I'm going to click this button and hope that we're still online.
Das pulling steampunk levers.
It's true. It's absolutely true. Camera, obey my commands. Please show me more Starship. Let's see here. I want to see a little bit more Starship. A little more Starship. So there in the foreground, you can see South Padre Island, the campground, and in the foreground there, and a little bit better, you can see Starship off in the distance, just by clicking a button. Anybody, y'all, tell me, can you see Starship now? Have we increased the number of pixels in Starship so that y'all can see it?
It
You
looks
can
about
watch.
6 pixels now.
Yeah, I
It's
think
about.
we need to get closer. I don't think
You
this
think
is acceptable.
we need to get a little bit closer than this? All right, hang on. Let me click another button. This is labeled mid. Oh, I just gave it away. Timeout. Timeout. Stand by. Show me more Starship, please. All right. Well done. Got some palm trees there. That looks nice. Sort of ties the video together. Get a little bit of glint of a sun there. How's that, y'all? I like it. Somebody said enhance. Future Martian said enhance in chat. And a few more pixels now. Do you think we need a little bit? Everybody in chat needs to say enhance is what they need to do. Everybody in chat just say enhance real quick. Let me click another button here and see what we can do here. Let's see. One more time. Yes, enhance. I like this. Everybody in chat says enhance. All right, enhance. Can we get any closer from over here? Survey says.
Enhance.
And focus too, please. There you go. So, y'all, this camera is about 6 miles away. This is up on a building in South Padre Island. This is a robotic camera that we haven't put out there. It's not a permanent installation. It's a temporary installation. But this is a view of Starship all the way from South Padre Island. And we're going to be going back and forth a little bit here because there's a fantastic, even from here, there's a fantastic view for being 6 miles out. And the other cool the other cool thing we can do about this, let's go check in with the production facility really quickly. At maximum zoom, you can see the shake as the servos sort of shake the tripod around a little bit. But there is the production facility, and you can see two bottoms, there's two Starship bottoms there, and then that old Mark I. I think, isn't that the Mark I there? They were taking the...
It is indeed, yes.
Yeah. God, the high bay's in there.
Good
the
old
mid-bay.
Mark I. I saw that stacked. I saw that all stacked a year ago.
Yeah.
And it was mind blowing how tall it was and how big it was. Jack, has that been your experience, seeing it stacked together and just that realization that that's only the second stage?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can see in some of the photos I've taken recently, like there's some concrete trucks at the base of it at the pad. It's a similar angle to what we're at right now. But you can't see it yet, but you will. But the concrete trucks are dwarfed, absolutely dwarfed by Starship. So yes, it's absolutely massive, even more massive than SN5 or SN6 because of course the nose cone. Das, I'm gonna keep saying enhance.
Enhance. Well, I think we're about ready. I'm gonna tell this to go back over to my mid shot on Starship. There we go. Well done, robot. Y'all, this robot is actually the robot that we had down at Cape Canaveral, and you've seen this robot in action before. I am gonna say really quickly a massive thanks to our friends at PTZ Optics. They are actually letting us work with this camera on a development sort of basis so that we can get we can see if it works. And so far it has been working fantastically for these robotic shots. The rest of the rig, all the uplink and stuff like that, is all due to y'all, your super chats and stuff. We're able to level these things up because of y'all's support. Even the mount, the position that we've mounted, we actually rented a spot to put this camera, and we're able to afford to pay for this because of y'all's super chat support, because y'all show up to the streams, ads roll, all that sort of stuff. All of that makes this sort of stuff possible. So I am going to try another thing here really quickly, and I am going to see if we can enhance one more time and get a little bit closer view of Starship. In fact, I should go to narrow if that's what I'm going to do. Go back to narrow, Robot 03. Oh, wait, that probably just gave something away. Anyways, sorry. Let me see really quickly if I can talk to another view. Stand by. Ah, yes. Uh-oh. We better switch to this one really quickly because it's complaining about a battery. Chat, everybody in chat, say enhance for me one more time. I need to see somebody telling me enhance, please. There's a couple people saying enhance. I like it. Let's see what we can do if I click this one. Oh. Look.
Battery's not happy about that.
The battery's not happy. was at half when we started. What happened? Oh no. Jack, that battery drains a lot faster than we thought it did. Just
Yeah,
FYI.
that's. I'm gonna have to address that.
Okay. Anyways, this is an angle of Starship that you have not seen on a NASA Space Flight stream before. This is actually coming over from. Oh wow, we have bad wind audio on this. Yes, we do. All right, there we go. Got it. All right, that needs to be monitored. It's a new one, fixed, resolved. Sorry about that. That was my fault.
Enhanced, not resolved.
Yeah, enhanced, not a. Sorry about the audio there, y'all. All right, that's fixed. The wind is fixed now. This is a angle of Starship that we haven't seen before. Jack has actually taken the Land Rover out there and has gotten set up so that we can see this side of Starship. And the battery is just rapidly blinking there. Jack, I think we're going to need to give you an opportunity to resolve that battery issue. Does that sound good?
Can do.
All right. So chat, look, you know the drill. It's 6:31. I was trying to get to this camera by 6:30 Eastern time, 5:30 because we want to see the sunset out there and we have spoiled y'all. But if you say enhance one more time, I've got one more thing that I can switch to here. I'm looking on chat and I'm trying to enhance the battery is what we need. It looks like it's blinking faster and faster. There's everybody saying enhance one more time. So let's see what we get when we enhance one more time, y'all. There's another view of Starship. And this, of course, you've seen this before because we spoil you. We didn't start off with a camera that's 6 miles away. This, of course, even better. Oh my gosh, this is the Mary Cam. This right here, the first camera was 6 miles away. Jack, I think, was about a mile away or something like that. I'm not exactly sure, but this is Mary miles away. This is the Mary Cam. This is the camera that y'all are always spoiled with when we do these live streams. Mary is out there on the side of the road right next to the production site. So that right there is some of the cameras that we've deployed out there. Of course, the positions will be different. Mary wouldn't be here when this thing actually hops, and Jack isn't going to be on the beach when this thing actually hops. They will be in different positions, but we will have that wide shot from SPI. In fact, we've been talking about maybe turning on that wide shot from South Padre Island and just leaving that up all day so that people can hang out and get excited about Starship over the weekend. What do y'all think? Do y'all think that would be a useful thing, or would we just sort of be wasting our time if we brought that camera up all the time? I'm not sure if that y'all are interested in that or not. It's Mary meters away, exactly. This is Mary meters away.
I like that unit of distance. Yes.
Gosh. So let me see here. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Let's try this real quick. Whoopsh. We've got that as well.
ITO
geez.
Causeway. Wow. That's a pretty good zoom, Doss.
I didn't. Okay, hang on. Sorry, that's not actually at the I-Tail Causeway. That's the robot that was on the I-Tail Causeway that's now mounted out at South Padre Island. I'll fix that real quick. Stand by. Sorry, that's my bad. This is NSF robot South Padre Island. That's not how you spell island. Island. All right, there we go. Did that fit? Yeah, okay, good. All fixed. All fixed. So without further ado, we've given y'all a little bit of a run around here. Oh, whatever, Michael. We've given y'all a little bit of a different views, different angles. I have all sorts of programs on the robot where we can have it point at different locations where we think that it may be splashing down or something, but we have been trying to level up our live coverage so that y'all can see this from all the different angles that are possible. But again, we're able to do this because of y'all's support. We would not be able to do this without y'all. So I've done my thing. I'm been herding robots and camera remotes and broadcast encoders and all sorts of things for the last couple of days. But we did promise a status update. So who wants to kick that off? What are we looking at in terms of dates and potentials for SN8 hopping? I think, Michael, you've been keeping an eye on that, right?
Yeah, I can try, but if you're trying to plan your weekend or your schedule around this, do not give me a 1-star review on TripAdvisor because this is gonna change again probably. But the current plan as of right now is that Sunday is the current targeted flight date based on the temporary flight restrictions. The temporary flight restrictions on Sunday go into effect at 12 p.m. Central Time, and they usually try to clear the area in advance of a hop or a test flight. So the actual launch time would be sometime after 12 p.m., probably an hour or two after that at least. So sometime Sunday afternoon or early evening on Sundays when we believe the current planned hop or launch, whatever you want to call it, is targeted for. That is a change from Monday, which was the plan as of yesterday. Yesterday, the test flight date slipped from Friday to Monday, but now, as of today, it sounds like they're trying to move that schedule back to Sunday. So that's the current status. It keeps changing every minute, so I could already be giving outdated information. But if you are knowing what is the earliest possible date for the Starship test
Jack's
flight,
camera. That's Jack's camera going off, isn't it?
Jack, you taking pictures while I'm talking?
I think Jack's taking pictures while you're talking. Keep going, Michael. Sorry.
Okay, Jack muted. Thank you, Jack. I'm joking. You're fine, Jack. Um, so as I was saying, the test flight is now scheduled for Sunday in the afternoon sometime. We don't know exactly when, so keep your afternoon open if you're hoping to see that happening. But I think
And
go ahead, Chris.
well, and I was going to say, and you keep Sunday morning open too, because the CRS mission that's targeted to launch tomorrow morning from the Kennedy Space Center has 50-50 weather odds for Kennedy weather and a high risk of the booster recovery weather preventing liftoff. So you might just want to clear the weekend for SpaceX activities.
Yeah.
What a problem to have, huh?
And I
I
will
know,
say,
right?
I will say that Sunday is not. I mean, the actual odds of a launch occurring on Sunday are it's possible, but it's not I wouldn't consider it the most likely option. We understand there's still a lot of open work. You can see them right now on Mary's camera at the base of the pad, with lifts, it looks like, going up, and they're working underneath the vehicle. There's still active work on the vehicle to complete, and it's very possible that this test date may slip to Monday or Tuesday in the next couple of hours or the next day or so. It is also likely that this thing could scrub on the first attempt. There is a lot of new things that are going to be occurring. This is the first time that SpaceX has managed their own safety zone of this size. So they're going to have to be able to keep a lot of boats out of the range, a lot of aircraft out of the range, a lot of people out of the range who could be on foot or in vehicles of any kind. So there's that. There's also the fact that this is the first time a Starship will fly with a nose cone and a liquid oxygen header tank. It's the first time that a Starship will fly with this much propellant. It's the first time that a Starship will fly with flaps. It's the first time that a Starship will fly with 3 Raptors. It's a lot of firsts, so the odds of a scrub on the first attempt are high. So, long story short, keep your schedule open for the next several days if you want to see this thing happen live.
Yeah, and in chat, y'all saw that real quick. Jack, the battery, we need to get a fresh battery over there, buddy. We're working on that. So, all right. Well, again, y'all, the purpose of our stream here was to do a status update and let y'all know what's going on, and also do some Q&A. So our question queue is starting to fill up here. Aziz, battery, I like it.
I guess we should probably just address the elephant in the room,
What
which
is the
is, why does it say 12.5 kilometers and not 15 kilometers? That's the most common question I'm seeing right now. So I'll take a stab at that unless somebody else wants to. But as of yesterday, we understand, or at least that was the first time we heard, they are planning to slightly modify the trajectory to go to 12.5 kilometers as opposed to 15 kilometers. And Joey Roulette, who is a reporter for Reuters, tweeted that the reason is because of winds. So sounds like the weather criteria is more likely to be acceptable for a slightly smaller um, test flight due to some higher altitude winds that could have been a problem at 15 kilometers. So I guess a couple of kilometers can make a pretty big difference in that regard. So that's what they're doing to get themselves the best potential for pulling off a launch on the targeted day. So not a
And
huge change. Go ahead, Chris.
yeah, not an overall huge change, but Billy Charlson brings up a good point about that. By lowering it from 15 kilometers down to 12.5 kilometers, is that high enough to test the skydive belly flop?
Yes, I think all the test objectives that Elon has tweeted about, which included that, it included the flip maneuver for landing and transferring from the main tanks to the header tanks for liquid oxygen. I think they plan to get those test objectives. They plan to perform those test objectives with this test. And I don't think that part has changed. So I think the answer is no. I think this will basically be the same test flight, just with a slightly smaller apogee, and I'm not even sure we're going to be able to really tell. It's going to be a pretty small difference. And remember, I mean, Starhopper's test flight was also changed last minute. It was supposed to be a 150-meter hop, if I remember correctly, and it was changed to 120. Or I'm getting that mixed up, but anyway, it was slightly lowered in altitude at the last minute. And that ended up playing out nicely because Starhopper had a Raptor anomaly at the very end, and had it been a couple of meters higher, it would have had a rapid unplanned disassembly. So they do change their flight plans last minute. This is SpaceX. They are very dynamic, and they do not spend months planning for these tests. As soon as there's a chance of getting this thing off the pad, they're going to go for it because they have a huge lineup of other Starships at the production site. And if they, spend several months on SN8, they're going to have 12 Starships in line, all ready to go, and they're not going to be able to launch them fast enough. So SpaceX's philosophy is very much to fly quickly and fail often, as opposed to fly once a year and hope you don't fail.
Excellent. All right. Well, what do we want to do? Do we want to start running through questions? Do we want to grab other questions? We've got some super chats
I
that
think
came
so.
through. How long are we going to stay live? Like, what's the plan even here?
I don't know.
I can just answer. I mean, I don't.
I mean, we have a lot of questions, so we'll just see how it goes, I guess.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. That sounds like a good plan.
See how many questions we have.
We have quite a few questions right now. Do y'all want me to sort of marshal some questions and toss them out for everybody here?
Sounds good to me. Yeah.
All righty, good deal. Well, let me refresh that really quick so I can see if it's going to let me do anything. There we go. And I'll run through the super chats just really quickly. Again, y'all, all the different robots and everything we've been able to deploy, the new camera encoders, all the modems and data required to bring all this different coverage from all these different angles. Getting ready for this SN8 hop is because of y'all. So I'm going to run the super chats just really quickly. Rough Rider Show. Whoa, Supplies live stream. Thanks for the coverage. Rough Riders, thank you for the support. We appreciate you always here showing up to the live streams. Also, Future Martian with the $20. Wow, that zoom. NSF's coverage just keeps getting better. Look, wait, I can click the zoom button. Hang on. Let's see what we got here. Got some birds flying by. There we go. All right. This is we had to put a camera 6 miles away so that the lights on Hopper wouldn't blind it. Those lights on Hopper are so bright. Future Martian, thank you so much for the $20 super chat there. We really appreciate the support. CAMP Railroad says we will name this RoboCam Enhancer. Nice. We'll name this RoboCam Enhancer. Kenny Alexander, a new member there. Thank you so much for the membership. Welcome to the family. Also, oh look, I'll click another button. Haha. Also,
just showing off at this point.
I am just showing off. What? Oh, you want to see both at the same time? Okay, wait, I can do that too. There you go. Look, we have all sorts of things. You really can tell the difference between that really nice camera that Mary's got and then the robotic camera that's 6 miles away. I mean, that's a huge difference right there. we are so spoiled to have Mary able to get us that close with those sorts of shots. It just is amazing. Nerdly Night, I asked somebody about Starship Cargo Space. They said, no, Rocket Go Space, Cargo Road. Oh my gosh. I'm just going to go to the next super chat. I'm just moving on. Don Clay, thank you for the $5. We appreciate you. Space Explorer. Space Explorer says, question for you guys. How likely do you think Starship will succeed in the flight? And if you expect failure, when would it fail? Anybody want to jump on that hand grenade?
Go for it, Chris. I'm passing
Chris?
that off. I'm passing that grenade, Chris.
Oh, sure. I'll give it a go. I do not expect it to be vertical with a gentle touchdown at landing. No, I do not expect it to land. I don't really know if I have an expectation, truly and honestly, of when I would expect it to fail. But I think the biggest challenge isn't the vertical ascent and the engine relight. It's that skydiver belly flop maneuver and the fact that the flaps and the aero surfaces are all flying for the first time. Right, you can model and model and model and model all you want, but eventually you just got to fly it and get flight data. I think that's the area where I'm expecting something to not go quite as planned. Is with that belly flop maneuver. Michael?
Yeah, I agree. Chris, I mean, I
Or
jump in.
dots, or
I agree. I've said that on the stream before where, the launch, I have a feeling they can fly this thing up to 12 kilometers, 15 kilometers, how many kilometers it ends up being that day. But I think the belly flop maneuver and then the reflight after the belly flop maneuver, if they can get that thing back into a stable vertical configuration after the flop and after the relight, I think they can land it. But the trick is getting them past those two critical steps, getting the belly flop done, getting the fiery bits pointed down, and then actually making them fiery bits by relighting the engine. I think those are going to be the two challenging parts of this. If they can get past those, I think they've got a really good possibility to land, even if not on the landing pad, a soft landing in the water. I think if they can get those two gates, SN8 may live through this ordeal. Michael, you want to jump in?
Yeah, I mostly agree. I think, we haven't even seen much of the flap testing. We saw back at the production site, he did a bit of, some testing with moving them back and forth, but not at a high rate of speed. And we also I don't even think we've seen them. We've seen them like tuck them in and then tuck them back out a little bit, but we haven't seen them flapping after launch. I don't think, unless I missed it. So.
Are they welding right there in the corner of the shot right now?
Oh yeah, they're installing they're increasing the wall, I think.
Yeah, they're
Oh.
working on the wall, building a new frame for it.
I think we just got Robo Jack there for a second, but talking about a new frame for the wall, I think, Jack? Yeah, that was Jack talking about a new frame for the wall. It just caught my eye all of a sudden. Did we go around the horn on that one? When did it fail? Cheers. I think we did. Michael, did you jump in?
Yeah, I mostly agree. I think the engine relight is probably another fairly big risk, but I would also agree that the flaps are are probably the biggest risk, I would say.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't have access to the data. So it would be interesting to see what Elon would say if he was asked that question.
Yep. Gotcha. All right. I'm going to run a couple more of these. Bill Bill says, I have lots of beer money. Bill, we appreciate you sharing your bill money. Your bill money. I guess that's accurate as well. We appreciate you sharing your beer money with us. I sort of take beer money and I turn it into camera money. So hopefully you enjoy all the different angles we're able to bring from Boca Chica here, especially for big events like this. Thanks for the $10. Dan Straight says, y'all's new camera feeds look great, y'all. Appreciate you, Dan. Thank you for the $20 there. Excellent. Thank you for the support. Dean Drake says, is it planning on landing on a pad or on a pad lander or in the water? They're going for the pad landing is the plan, but I believe, or we think, SpaceX hasn't come out and said this, but we think that the trajectory may bring it down over the water first, and then it would divert to the pad. Is that a good understanding, Chris? Or
Can you
Yeah.
hear me okay right now?
yeah, Jack, I can hear you.
So interesting
Oh,
thing
go ahead.
on that. Interesting note on
Yeah.
that. I think so far we have thought that it would sort of target the water and then kind of translate over to the pad. In order to preserve the pad. However, today we did a little beach cleanup at Isla Blanca Park,
Yeah.
and Tim Dodd was there, and Austin Bernard was there, and Richard Engel was there, and also Declan was there. And Declan was saying, I just caught it in passing,
Yeah.
but Declan was saying to Tim something along the lines of, uh, during the 6-second burn for landing, they would not be able to translate all the way over to the landing pad from the
Ah,
water.
interesting.
So it seems kind of like it's crater or bust. Wait, no, land or crater, or land or bust. Crater or I don't know. You get it.
Yeah, in
So
Declan.
basically vertically straight up.
Well, potentially. I mean, if anything, maybe not east and west, but more north and south. So it would still impact land, but maybe not the tank farm or the orbital pad. I
It's
don't
just
know.
because
It'll really be
Huh.
interesting to see how it plays out. And I know me personally, I've been saying this for what feels like years now, but probably is only a couple of weeks. But I fully expected them to target the water. I mean, that makes sense, right?
yeah, same here.
Um,
Yeah.
so
Well, and
maybe
it's
maybe that's
exactly what
still
the
the
Falcon
case.
9s
And
do. Yeah.
exactly, yeah, it just
Well,
makes sense. So we'll just kind of have to wait and see what the deal is on the day.
That's a good point. And if Declan came back with that information, Declan does Flight Club IO, which does all the simulated trajectories for missions. A lot of photographers use it so they can say, all right, I'm going to point my camera here, and then the rocket's going to make an arc through the sky like this. And so you get those really cool streak shots, they're called, right? And Declan is somebody who makes this Flight Club software, this Flight Club application that predicts these launches based on past experiences and stuff. So in terms of the physics, and if I start the engine here, knowing the burn of the Raptor, exactly how long it's going to be on, the mass of the vehicle, if anybody could figure that out, I mean, besides SpaceX, Declan does that basically for a living. So that's good information, Jack. Thanks for passing that on.
stand by. I'm working on getting his trajectory on screen,
Oh, well,
but
there you go.
Oh,
I mean,
cool.
it does look like I'm looking at his trajectory right now, which he has not. I don't think he's had time to update it since the information came out about the slight change in the target altitude. But it does look like to me he has it launching out over the ocean. So it'll pitch downrange a bit shortly after liftoff. But then before the land, it looks like it'll sort of use its flaps and whatnot to come back towards the launch site and then come back in over the pad for the landing burn. So I
So
think for part of it, it'll be over the ocean. It's just that final landing portion it's not going to be. Go
yeah,
ahead, Jack.
Okay.
basically the difference there being if they go for landing and they don't get the relight or anything goes wrong during that flip maneuver, it will impact land because at that point it will already be over land. But there will be phases of flight where it will be over water should something go wrong.
Yeah, I think I'm about ready to put it up, but I think the main thing is that it looks like they should be able to have they should be able to get some tests with the flaps done before they have to make a decision, if that makes sense. So if the flaps are working, they should, have at least that problem relatively proven, to some extent at least.
You mean like in flight?
Yes, so like they will be using the flaps to control Starship before it's back over to land, basically.
Got it.
And I do have that ready, I think. Let me see.
Are you getting my
Yeah,
angle
there it
right
is.
now? Is my
Oh,
camera
Jack.
okay?
Oh, yes. Yes, yes.
I got the battery situation sorted. Sorry about that.
Appreciate you sorting the battery situation.
Yes,
So
it's
that's
yeah,
Declan's?
that's Declan's, and it's oh yeah, it looks a lot better on the actual stream than it does in our preview. Okay, you
Yeah.
can see the white portion is the unpowered flight, and the red portion is the powered flight. So you can see how it kind
And
of
that
Go ahead, Chris.
And that landing burn, did you say 6 seconds?
Yeah, look at
Okay,
that.
well, no. But okay, the one thing with this is, I have not seen official confirmation that it's a 3-engine landing burn, and Declan does not have that official
Ah,
information to work off
So
of, so he's assuming it's a 3-engine landing burn.
so
Which,
Oh,
yesterday
okay. So this is if it's a 3-engine landing burn.
yes.
Got it.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jack.
yesterday when the news broke that the hop had switched from 15 kilometers to 12.5, I believe it was partially broken by Tim Dodd, everyday astronaut. Shout out, Tim. What up, Tim? Thanks for coming out to the cleanup today, in case you're listening. In that article, among other juicy tidbits, including the switch from 15 kilometers to 12.5 kilometers, Tim mentioned that it was expected that one engine would ignite, initiate the flip, and then 2 engines would fire up. So for a brief instant, I think 3 engines would be lit. Then the first engine would shut down, and landing would proceed with 2 engines. So, I mean,
Oh, interesting.
Tim's a smart guy, and he's got good sources. So I basically take that as the current plan as it stands. Oh, my camera died, didn't it? Darn it.
And we did see one static fire with a single engine with the header tanks. We saw another static fire with 2 engines for the header tanks. That could be more proof of that. That being
Mhm.
said, the point I was getting at is that I think because Declan did not have this information available to him when he made his original trajectory, I assume he'll be, updating his models ahead of the test on Sunday. But I think this current 6-second landing burn assumes all 3 engines firing the entire time. And it sounds like that's not the case, so maybe it's more like 8 or 10 seconds. But that being
So,
said, go ahead, Chris.
well, so I'm just thinking about that because that's very interesting, right? Because all 3 of these engines are mounted um, so that they thrust through the center of mass, right, of the vehicle. So there's not there's not a thrust offset like we've seen with the previous Starship hops and everything. But turning one of 3 engines off would automatically, and that's just very interesting. I'm incredibly curious what that gets them. Um, from that slight, off center of mass burn of 2 engines versus 1.
Yeah, it might
I
just
wonder
give them.
what that gets them. Yeah.
I think if I had to guess, I think it probably gives them more margin because if you're using that much thrust with so little propellant left in Starship, you have to basically nail that thrust or that hover slam. You don't have very much wiggle room. But if you have
But 2.
if you have more burn time, I think it's probably easier to make refinements. Wow, look at that view right now, the sunsets.
yeah. I can't look. It's like I can't even choose which one to switch to. I mean, clearly not this one.
Good
Let's
luck.
switch to this one.
Good luck on launch day.
Yeah, right.
Switch to
I
mine.
mean-
Switch to mine.
Yeah, that is going to be a serious challenge. I'll tell you that much.
How are you going to handle the actual flight itself with so many cameras to look at? That's what I want to know. Good
Yeah, I
luck.
don't know. I don't know.
Maybe like a quadruple side by side or a triple side by side. I don't know if we're going to include the SpaceX feed in that and how many feeds we have, but I think we're going to have a lot of feeds. So
Wow. God. That's just cool looking, y'all.
that is insane.
Weren't we answering questions at some point? I think we were answering questions.
We
We're gonna
were,
be-
but
we're
I'm
gonna
just
be
like
at- we're gonna be here a while.
mesmerized by that.
Oh, let me run through some of these. And I think we're getting a little bit of wind from a mic there. Is that Jack or?
Yep, he just muted.
Yeah, thanks, Jack. All right, good
job,
deal.
Jack.
So yeah, so before we take a few more questions, just hello and greetings and good evening, good morning, and wherever you are
There you
around
go.
the world. I'm Chris Gebhardt. I'm the assistant managing editor of NASA Spaceflight. I'm joined by Das and Michael and Jack, and we are and Mary. This is a view from the camera that Mary has out at the launch site there.
And that person
So
taking that cell phone photo as well.
and the person taking the cell phone photo, yes. Yes, but we wanted to pop on for about an hour or so and take some of your questions about the Starship Hop, and go ahead and show you all a lot of the views and the camera angles that we have been working on, and most definitely as a most definitely a question that we got. If this was our version of a wet dress rehearsal. Kind of, right, Das? Like getting to
Kind
show
of,
off all the
yeah.
equipment, right?
It is,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. We're not showing off everything. We're not letting all of the cats out of the bag here. I tell you that much. I accidentally already called that one by its robot number, so whatever. Um, but I've been super excited. Most of this stuff was ready at the beginning of the week, and all week long we've put so many hours into making this happen. And I've been wanting to show them off to people for the longest time because all of this is possible because of the viewer support, right? And so we just said, you know something, even if they're not hopping today, even if they're not tested today, we're going live and we're looking at camera feeds. The end.
I, I mean, we should also say though, you made it sound like we've been working on this all week, which is
Oh well.
absolutely not true because you have been working. You sold yourself way short there. You have been working on this for like 3 months, I think, at least, maybe more.
Probably so, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody knows about Fleet Cam, and Fleet Cam was one of our first forays into remote robotic camera operation. And we took the lessons we learned operating the Fleet Cam, and we are basically building the NASA spaceflight robot army. Let's just put it that way. Can I have a robot army, Chris? Please?
I don't know. Your wife did warn me not to let you loose in Home Depot.
It's true. It's absolutely true. Um,
It's like a toy store.
I'm gonna.
Think of all the build.
Jack is part of the robot army, apparently. Chat, y'all can hear Jack.
Yes.
If you're wondering what the other robot numbers are, one of them is Jack and the other is Fleet Cam.
Yeah, Jack, quick, emote, prove you're not a robot.
Oh
Oh
wow.
shoot, he didn't. Guess that proves it.
Just that sounds like exactly what a synth would say. Um, real quick, y'all. Dave Wilson, we appreciate the membership there. I'm 15 minutes behind. I don't want him to get too far behind. Stephen Dickinson, thank you so much for the support and the pun in there. Apparently, cargo space asks Starman. Ah, that's a good point, actually. The car does go to space. Ask Starman. Nice, Stephen. Thank you. We've got Cole Logan saying, woohoo, robot camera. We appreciate you there, Cole, helping us pay the bills. Dean Drake with another $5. Dean, thank you. Troy says, thanks for the cool new views. Keep it up. Cool new views? What cool new views? What are you talking about? Thank you. Appreciate you, Troy. Thomas Anfang says, the thrust is 3. The thrust is tree, actually. That's a Christmas tree. Just kidding. Thanks for the amazing views. Thanks for the support, Thomas. Saulo Jesus here says, does SN8 have a mass simulator like SN5 and SN6? And I will answer that for you real quick, Saulo. It has a mass. It doesn't need a simulator. It actually just has the nose cone and it has the forward fins and flaps and all that sort of stuff right now. So they don't need to put just a big old bunch of stainless steel at the top. Now, have they augmented inside at all to increase the mass to simulate some cargo or anything? Anybody that's been watching the videos, do we know, have they snuck anything in there, or is it just
I don't.
the nose cone?
Not that I've seen.
I think it's
Uh,
just the nose cone and straight up the weight of the locks in the lock header tank is fairly significant. I think it's like 10 tons or something.
Yeah, thank you, Jack. We appreciate the answer. Um,
Jack, emote, Jack. We've been over this in your training classes.
It's Starship. I am a human.
Oh my gosh. So long story short there, the mass simulators were to stand in for what's actually installed on the Starship now. The forward cargo area, the nose cones, the header tanks, all that sort of stuff. So we appreciate you there, Salo. Let me get this clear the rest of the way out. Dougal sneaking in with the Canadian dollars. New robot camera, Mr. Burns voice. Excellent. I'll do the hand rub for you. Keep up the awesome coverage and improvements are awesomely awesomer awesomeness. Dougal, thank you so much for that. We appreciate you. Always showing up at the streams over here. Mark Garrett's. Oh, look at this. Mark, I don't want to out him, but Mark, appreciate the €10 there as well. Amazing new set of views. Go team. Absolutely, Mark. We're able to do this because NASA spaceflight is a team of people who get up early and they don't go to sleep until they've got a lot of cameras operating and a lot of good space news and stuff like that too. But I like cameras. Thanks for the $10 there. And then finally, Adrian Beal actually says, just want to say how cool it is that people actually cleaned the beach. A great use of time. I think we'd all completely
Right.
agree with that one.
Can I really quick, if I'm not a
Yeah,
robot?
absolutely. You're not a robot. Well, I mean, maybe you're still a robot, but
He's a robot
Uh,
that's about to be broken
we we
when he
saw
sees what's happening next. But go ahead.
go ahead, Jack.
we saw a lot of people on Twitter today saying like, "Oh, that's so cool! You're cleaning up the beach. I wish I could be there. I wish I could be there," which is a really cool sentiment. But also, you can clean up places around you. I know that sounds cheesy and lame. Maybe it's not a place where there's a starship, but leave no trace. Leave this earth better than you found it. So it wasn't even my idea to do the cleanup or anything. Just a guy I met out here named Emmett. It was his idea, and he tweeted at me and a bunch of us, and so we just decided to come out and do it. So if you feel like you wish you could be here cleaning it up, I mean, there's plenty of dirty stuff to clean up. Just do your part. And thanks everybody for caring.
Yeah, absolutely,
said.
Jack. We appreciate you being out there today, doing the beach cleanup thing and everything, and the fact that everybody came together and people were posting on Twitter and stuff like that. Like, hey, if you're down here for this, don't just sit around. It's the scrub or whatever, but come and make some positive in the world.
Yeah,
That really was a great idea.
Gene was out from Space Padre. Austin was out. Everyday Astronaut was out. Richard Angle was out. Cosmic Perspective, Ryan and Mary Liz were out. And there was a whole bunch of other people out that were just wanting to help out, and it was really cool. I mean, we cleaned the whole entire beachfront in front of the amphitheater there. It's crazy how much trash we pulled away. We pulled away bags and bags and bags of trash, and at some point, the nice people from the park who had agreed to remove the bags of trash for us and put them in the dumpster um, took like all of the bags that we had stacked up. And so we were like, no, we don't have a big
Oh,
pile of bags to take a photo with at the very end. But
nice.
who cares? We cleaned up the beach and it looks awesome. And it's there's still plenty of more beach to clean, but we made a small dent today, and that felt good.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, something. Let's get into some questions here. Shall we get into some questions? There's a couple more super chats in here, but we're not too terribly far behind. Let us grab some questions here. Sound good?
Yeah, we
Good.
don't want to break Jack too soon, so
Yeah.
we'll hold off on that one for a
Yeah,
second.
Jero,
Thank
we
you
we
very
got
much.
you. We got you.
We
Yeah.
see it.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah. So here's one from GI Josh, and GI Josh was asking, what super heavy activity have y'all noticed? So, do we know anything going on with super heavy?
I
Out
mean,
I
on
think
aside from the initial builds, yeah, Jack, you've been there on the ground. What have you been able to see?
and I haven't seen much. It's kind of tucked away in the high bay, but Mary did catch those amazing shots of like two locks stack segments being moved into the high bay a little while back. So those are surely being worked on. But what you can see is as you're driving down Highway 4 towards the beach or from the beach, as you're passing the build site there, you can see all of the ring segments that have been stacked. It's like, 4 ring high segment over here, 4 ring high segment over there. They have so many of them lying around outside of the production tents, sort of in between the production tents and the high bay, which is where those two pieces that had previously been lifted into the high bay were before they were lifted. So we're pretty sure that all of those ring segments are just segments of the super heavy booster number 1 waiting to be lifted into the high bay and stacked. So it's just a matter of time, I guess. I mean, they certainly seem to have enough laying out there. I would need to go and look at like RGV aerials photos and determine how many of these 4 ring high segments do they have, and how many has Mary seen? Like, what is that GIF of the lady with like all the math flashing on screen? It's like, but figuring out, I'm pretty sure they have a whole booster just sitting there waiting to be stacked. But we haven't really seen anything beyond those awesome videos from Mary of those first two four ring high sections being moved into the high bay, unless, big caveat, I've been on the road for a week and a half now. I could have missed something in one of the videos or something that was caught, because I mean, I didn't even know Richard Engel won the Aviation Week photo contest of the year. I was like, oh darn it, I didn't even submit. So I'm out of the loop. I could have missed something, but that's what I think is the current best understanding.
Gotcha. All right. I'm gonna keep running some questions here. This is a good one. This is from Martin Smith asking, is there one more static fire to happen before the flight takes place? We thought maybe something was going to go on today, then the road closures, everything got canceled. Do we think that potentially they may do another static fire at some point? Do they even have time in the schedule for that?
For Sunday, I don't think so, but they do have another static fire. They originally were planning to do that this past Monday. They didn't end up having the schedule to do that in terms of Starship itself being ready. And then they were going to make another attempt today, but that again got postponed or canceled, presumably because Starship was again still not ready. So they have been trying to do another static fire attempt, but it seems like it's a good to have static fire, not a requirement for the flight. So with all the Starships stacking up at the production site, as soon as they are ready to fly this thing, they're going to fly it. But in the meantime, if there's some open issues that prevent a flight but don't prevent a static fire, they may go ahead and do the static fire just to reduce the risk. So um, there is I guess we could call it like a, risk reduction static fire or something. It's a static fire that if they do it, they could use it to reduce some of the known risk for the upcoming flight. But if the flight is ready, they're just going to go for the flight because SN9 is ready to go to the pad.
That makes sense. So they've done so many static fires already. They've done quite a few static fires. They've gotten a lot of good data from those. That's for sure. It was almost like it was. Well, we don't really have to have another one, but if we have time in the schedule, we might run one out. But I don't know that SpaceX was really feeling like they were having to do that. Does that make
Yeah,
sense? Because they already
correct.
have what, 3 successful static fires.
Yeah.
Yeah, on
And I
Hmm.
just
mean,
this vehicle.
you can always test more. At some point,
Yes.
you got to fly.
Yep. Exactly. So let's grab some more here. Martin, that was a good question.
I think four. I think there was four static fires. Sorry, I'm
Did I?
pretty sure we're at four now.
Yeah, you're right, Jack. Thank you for
Thank you.
pointing that
Yeah.
out.
All right. Let me see. Here's a good one. We can do this one real quick. What is the Texas visibility range for the flight? Will it be visible from Houston? Definitely not visible from
No.
Houston. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd see it from Corpus Christi either. We're not expecting like a big plume behind it. It's only going up to 12 kilometers, 12 and a half kilometers. I think you'd have to be South Padre Island, Port Isabel, Brownsville in order to see something. Really, South Padre Island is going to be the place to be if you're in the area and you can do it safely, you know? But if
It's basically flying at roughly the same um uh
altitude is a,
as a commercial
yeah,
airliner.
right.
Yeah, I mean it's 41,000 feet, so that's a little bit higher than a standard commercial airliner. So yeah, you're definitely not going to see it,
Yeah.
unless you're in the immediate vicinity. Yeah, like Brownsville would probably be able to see it.
Yeah, I think
South
so.
Padre
Yeah.
Island definitely, but yeah, it's not going to be that high.
I mean, I used to live in Corpus Christi, right, just up from Boca Chica, down from Houston,
Hmm.
about halfway between the two. And if you're flying into Corpus Christi Airport, you can't see Houston, and it's only a 30-minute flight. It's 200 miles, 210 miles or whatever. So you're definitely not going to see just because it's going, like you said, Chris, up about to the altitude of a commercial airliner. So
Hmm.
good call on that one. But I will tell you the actual visibility range for the hop is going to be all over the world because you could tune into the webcast here. I mean, I've thrown
Oh,
so many
that's such a
cameras at it. I hope one of them works.
see. That's the broadcaster in you versus like the nerdy little pedantic. Oh, well, the technical answer is like.
I would just wanted to advertise that we were going to live stream it, you know?
Good
All
move. This
right.
is why we're a good team.
Uh-huh. Let's see here. Is there any plan for crewed starships or sorry, do you think crewed starships should have emergency parachutes? Anybody want to weigh in on that one real quick?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with a probably a controversial answer on this. No, I think if we really truly are serious about travel between planets, about colonization. That's a horrible word. Settlement, living on other planets' bodies, whatever term you
Becoming
choose to use there.
multiplanetary.
There you go. Becoming multiplanetary. We need to honestly start thinking of these things as planes. And when you get on a commercial airliner, you don't have emergency parachutes and you don't have escape pods and you don't have abort systems. You have to design and build the system with that confidence that
Heck,
accidents are rare.
even the oxygen masks they give you that drop down that we
Oh,
know from all the
geez.
movies and everything, those only
Oh,
last like 15 minutes.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
they're designed to give you oxygen while they descend to a safe altitude.
I
They
know, but
don't
what
have
if
to
you
last very
don't,
long.
Das? What if you
What
don't?
if you don't? Yeah.
So my honest answer is no. I don't think there should be, because if we're serious, someone's got to be. I mean, like someone has to be a non-government agency to stand up and be the first one to say, yeah, like we understand that, and it's a risk that we're going to have to accept because of the way systems are designed, in part, but also just because we need to push ourselves to make this as safe as the air as the airline analogy. And is that possible? It's certainly much more difficult to do that with rocketry, but it's something we got to push ourselves to do. And I think a way you do that is if you take away that abort mechanism and you've got people on board, that ups your game. I'm not saying it's potentially the best solution for it, but if we're serious about it, my thought is we gotta push past the idea that everything needs an abort system. But I know I am not joined in that thought by everyone.
Well,
Das.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Well, it was sort of my answer would be based on the phase of flight, right? Because crewed starships, are you talking about crewed starships that are going to other planets? So crewed starship going to the moon is a thing, but not going to get any use from emergency parachutes there, right? It's the moon, no atmosphere. Crewed starship going to Mars, I think, is the same thing. You have to design the system
Yep.
so that you can trust that it's going to put those bodies on the ground at Mars when they're still living and breathing, right? That's what you want. You have
Mars's atmosphere is actually too thin
Yep.
for
You
complete parachute landings. Yeah.
exactly right. So emergency parachutes there wouldn't help you. And if you're talking about crewed starships, like you're getting into point to point and that sort of stuff, I think that's a whole different animal. But even just the physics and the phases of flight there, I don't think parachutes would work because there are certain points of the flight where parachutes aren't going to help you if the engines don't light on your landing burn. There's no time for them to unfurl. It's just not a
Right.
thing. You're certainly not going to have a backpack on and all right, proceed to the emergency starship exits in the last 10 seconds of flight and everybody jump out and pop their parachutes. It just that's not parachutes just don't even work in that scenario. So y'all know my thoughts on point to point starship, and I would really like to have some cross range with some wings like airliners do. Airliners do have abort systems. They're called wings, and they can glide and divert to other airlines, airports. But that's a whole other thing, right? But it's a really great question. It's a really good thing to talk about. And Chris, you're absolutely right. If Starship is going to land people on the moon, Starship's going to land people on Mars. You're not going to be able to rely on parachutes. You have to design it. You have to trust it for protecting human life and getting them down on the ground safely. Whichever ground you're talking about, the moon or Mars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very much so.
I was also gonna say, I mean, for the point to point, it's a whole different story. But for like a trip to Mars, I don't think ascent, like the launch portion, or even, I mean, maybe not, but at least the launch portion, I think, is very low on the overall risk of the entire flight. So I
Right.
think the total time spent traveling to Mars is a lot more dangerous, and probably landing on Mars is going to be dangerous. Returning to Earth will be dangerous. So people always focus on an abort system during launch, but like Crew Dragon does not like you can't like switch to a different Crew Dragon once you're in orbit. You can't
Right.
if Crew Dragon's parachutes fail. They have redundant parachutes, but they don't have a redundant like a complete another set of parachutes or a different landing system.
Yeah, there's no
So
go around when you're
there's
landing a
no yeah.
capsule. Yeah.
So I think it's so like the launch is not really that dangerous compared to the rest of the flight when you're doing something as dangerous as going to Mars. It's still dangerous, but just relative to what you're also doing. it's not the biggest risk.
Yeah. Makes sense. I really like questions like that because it gives us an opportunity to sort of think things through and talk about it. And I love the fact nobody's like, "Oh yeah, it's going to work no matter what. Forget you for doubting." That's not how we are, and it's not. No, it'll never work. This is a terrible idea because you can actually think about these things. You can talk it through. You can say, here's why it would or wouldn't work. And I think that allows everybody to get a little bit better understanding of what goes on when you're trying to move people around to other planets. You know what I
Well,
mean?
because at the end of the day, these are conversations we're going to have, right?
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, and I mean, it's weird for us to think of this now because I mean, it's weird when you look up into the sky and you don't see an aircraft over
Yeah.
you,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
And but when airplanes first started entering commercial service, I mean, think of that fear that people had to have
Yep.
and I mean the rightful concern of the safety to people on the ground. But as difficult as those conversations are, as weird as those conversations are, they're ones that are necessary, right? So it is. I like those questions because they're kind of philosophical too.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I think
Let's see here. Go
because
ahead.
someone in chat mentioned that like Crew Dragon could use the Super Dracos to land. That was a plan that is not currently an option.
Yeah, I think it was like an idea, and
Yeah,
then that didn't come to fruition. Like theoretically, could it not? It almost doesn't even matter because it's not on the table right now, right?
correct.
Yeah. All right. I see, now we're way behind in super chats again. So it's gotten to 15 minutes, and this is the one that I probably should have got this one in there. Jerwa, thank you so much. The $50 earlier. Jerwa, thank you for the $50. Saying Jack just needs a recharge. No disassemble.
No
No
disassemble.
disassemble. No disassemble.
Yeah, please do not disassemble me. And thank you, Jerwa, for the hilarious gifts. And I remember Discord in for the $50.
We'll have to give you like a Jackie 5 is alive t-shirt or something like that. I don't know. It's a movie from the 80s.
I,
Anyways,
b- I, I believe you.
I'd put a
He's
camera on it.
explaining things again.
You know where Johnny Five had the shoulder mounted laser? That would actually be a camera for us, and we would just drive it around the beach and we'd point the camera at different stuff. I think that would probably freak SpaceX out a little bit. Uh,
Probably.
but Jerwa, thank you so much for the $50. That is super generous. I apologize. I should have read that one out before we went on. Just trying to strike the balance between answering questions, doing super chats, and that sort of stuff. Um, Hendrik Harald
Yeah, and
Koenig. Oh, go
sorry.
ahead.
And to reiterate, please don't disassemble me.
No disassemble, Jack. No disassemble.
We
Jack
would
is
never,
alive.
Jack.
Hendrik, thank you for the €5 there, saying greetings from Austria. I don't know that I've read out of one from Austria before. Have,
I don't remember that either.
yeah, good deal. Hendrik, asking, are the
Nice.
cables
Welcome.
on SN8's lower flaps unhinged right now? Because it looks like it. Also, thank you for the great coverage. Do we know the status of the lower flaps? Are they unhinged? Are they cabled into position?
I
Jack,
think they're cabled in. We're just not looking at the cable side. We're looking at the belly, and the cables are on the back.
gotcha. So the cable or the cables or straps or chains or whatever they are on the far side of the camera shot that we're looking at here, right? Let's check. There you go.
Correct.
I think
Yeah,
so.
there.
Yes.
I zoomed in so you can see there's no cables or anything from this angle. The same as Mary's angle because we're looking at the belly. The back is where those are.
Aha, yes. I saw that, Jack. That is I'm just going to use the term fantastic and leave it at that. That's fantastic.
I think you can actually see a
It's the
cable though
train.
in the very bottom right
Yes, that's
of
the
the flap.
train.
Yeah, there's somebody walking around down there.
Yeah. There's something attached to it. There
Yeah,
is. It looks like you can
I think
see something connected on this side
from
at
the
the very
launch
bottom.
stand to the flap, there's something on the bottom of each flap on Jack's camera.
Yeah, it's got like a little orange come along or something. It's like a ratcheting thing. I don't know what it is, but it's like an orange thing in the middle of that. It does look like you can see a little bit of a cable once Jack zoomed in. Look at that.
And
Great question.
you can see a couple of crew members going up in that lift right now.
Yeah.
They're clearly still working on Raptor or something under there.
Yep. Very cool. Let's see here. Skylar Kerr, $15 from Skylar Kerr says, "What does it take to break Jack? Thanks for the great coverage." The Skylar, the joke there is sometimes super chats come in that are so insanely generous. Jack just sort of jumps off the Jack programming and just says, So, what does it take to break Jack? Generosity. And everything's generosity, but sometimes every now and then the words cannot express the appreciation we have for y'all supporting us so that we can do all these cool things. So thank you for the $15 there, Skylar. Emmett Osborne says, "Thanks again, Jack. It was a great experience. Of course, thank you to the whole NSF team for the coverage." Emmett, thank you so much for the support so we can keep the coverage coming.
Oh yeah, Emmett was the one that organized the beach cleanup. Thanks again for
Oh,
doing that,
wow.
Emmett.
That's amazing. Emmett, thank you so much for. I didn't know that, Jack. Thanks for chiming in. That is really fantastic. Hans Decker here with some euros, 16.99 euros, saying, "What do you guys think are the odds we'll see this winged candle fly in the coming 3 days?" Anybody want to make some wagers on whether or not it'll go in the next 3 days?
30%.
30%. I like it. That's 1 in 3. Michael?
That sounds about right.
So
Apologize
yeah.
if that's not Michael, but yeah.
That's okay. No, sorry.
basically, if it's gonna fly by Monday, I say 20%.
20%. You're really looking at that. All right, we're all ready to go. TFR's in place. Countdown. Scrub.
Michael's
You're really
Michael's
looking at
over
that?
here playing Price is Right. He's like $1.
I mean, this is just a prediction. I don't like to be clear. I don't have like information saying there's like a 90% chance it's gonna slip to Monday. But I just think based on the trends we've seen so far, I have a feeling the Sunday attempt will slip to Monday, and then either the Monday attempt will slip again, or they'll attempt on Monday but scrub. That's my prediction.
Yeah.
I don't like that prediction, Michael, because I've been here for a week already.
Okay, know what? It's gonna launch on Sunday, Jack.
There you go. Just for Jack. It's going to launch on
Hey,
Sunday.
thanks. Now I'm happy.
Let's see here. Alex Moon. Hey, Alex Moon, how you doing? You're not the. You never programmed anything from Kerbal Space Program, did you? If DOS has a robot army, does that make him Mr. Robot? Thanks for all the coverage. I mean,
Like that.
I just like robots. It's fun. I have a lot of fun working on those things. Honestly, y'all, they cannot beat these views though. Like you can put a robot out there, but then you get stuff like this, and you get all the feeds that we've been so spoiled with Mary and the close-ups and all the different abilities. You can't beat that. You can get a robot out there and it doesn't care if it's rain or shine or whatever. It gives you feeds. It just wants battery charge, but it doesn't beat having somebody there on the ground. I'll tell you that right now. Let's see here. Speed run a couple here. Waves TV Malta. €5. Thank you, Waves. No message there, but we appreciate you. Blue Grasshopper is a new member. Welcome, Blue Grasshopper. Calron. Yeah, I guess that says Calron or KA Iron 07, saying, "Do we know what kind of legs SN8 has right now?" So up under the bottom of SN8, we should have those little short legs that sort of flop down right before landing, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're the same legs that we saw on 5 and 6. And I'm pretty sure 9, in fact, has the same legs as well.
So robotic legs, according to Jack. So Jack, you broke up a little bit there, but sorry.
No, no
See,
the same legs as
I try to get him to respond so that we can hear even more robot noises from Jack. That's we're not reading you right now, Jack, but that's all good. Jack is out there in the field. Jack's over on the beach right now, y'all. Yes, Jack, exactly. Nice. Does anybody speak robot?
I think he said similar to same legs as SN5 and 6, and SN9 also had the same leg design.
Good deal. And here's one last question. All right, one last super chat, and then we'll get back into the regular question queue. This is from Steven Dixon saying, with SHBN1 under construction, are we expecting to see the tarps come off the orbital platform legs and more construction to build up in the near future? Can we see the orbital platform right now? I'm not sure. I'm just going to toss that out into the ether and see what happens. what do we think? Do we think we may see some more structure out there since we're seeing Super Heavy? Do we think the platform is going to be ready before Super Heavy? Do we think Super Heavy is going to have to wait on the platform? Any ideas on that one?
My personal bet is I think that Super Heavy is going to launch from Pad A or Pad B, which we're looking at Mary's camera right now. Starship SN8 is currently on Pad A, and Starship SN9 we believe is going to go to Pad B, which is on the left-hand side of Mary's screen right now. So I think one of those pads will most likely host the first Super Heavy. Those pads are not beefy enough to. It looks like Jack's finding you get Super Heavy pad, which you can see on the right there.
Yeah.
Um, so that Super Heavy pad that otherwise known as the orbital launch pad that Jack is pointing at on the right, that'll be needed for a fully propellant loaded or fully fueled Super Heavy booster, and possibly a Super Heavy booster, or certainly a Super Heavy booster with significantly more engines. But I think the current launch stands would be capable of hosting a Super Heavy booster with a small amount of propellant and a couple of engines. I think Elon even tweeted only 2 engines were needed for a Super Heavy hop. So I think it is likely that they could use one of the existing launch stands for the initial Super Heavy testing while they complete the orbital launch stand.
Gotcha. Again, one of those things where we like to think about it, we like to talk about it, but we don't know for sure exactly what SpaceX plans are. SpaceX has some plans, but we will definitely stay tuned. And with Mary out there every single day, it's hard for SpaceX to sneak a piece of stainless steel into the facility without Mary taking pictures of it from 8 angles. So stay tuned, and we will definitely have more information on what's going on with that orbital launch pad and the boosters. Let's see here. Real quick, $10 from the Lucky Project saying, wouldn't it be cool if Ray Bradbury were alive to see the SpaceX saga? I mean, it looks straight out of Ray Bradbury
Oh,
science fiction.
it really does.
Yeah, it does. Lucky Project, thank you so much for the $10 there. And you're absolutely right. I mean, truly, we are living in a wondrous time where we have a straight up old school sci-fi style starship that exists in the, I'd say flesh and blood, but it's actually stainless steel and LOX / methane, but whatever. It just really is cool that we get to see here and we can share live views like this with y'all because it actually exists. Let's get a regular question here. Let's just reiterate this one. This one was from Spain Space asking, are we looking at Sunday now? Road closures confirmed. Do we think that there's a possibility that could go Sunday? Michael, let's roll that back and just recap that one more time because I know we talked about that a while
Yeah.
ago.
So actually, that's a good question. I'm glad you asked that, Space. So there are actually no road closures for Sunday yet. But the road closures are not really hard to get. SpaceX just has to sort of ask the county. It is a weekend, so the county has asked SpaceX to minimize weekend closures. But SpaceX, at least in the initial Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy plans, back when they were planning to launch the Falcon family from Boca Chica, the county did give SpaceX permission for a couple of weekend closures per year. And SpaceX has pretty much not closed the highway on a weekend, at least intentionally, for several months. I'm trying to remember if the beach ended up being closed on a weekend because of a previous test. There's a couple of tests where they had issues and couldn't detank the vehicle safely, so they had to have it boil off. And I forget if the beach was closed over the weekend sometime over the past couple of months. But certainly intentionally, SpaceX has not closed the beach on a weekend. So I think they are due to be able to close on a weekend at some point, and I think Sunday could be that day. Again, the county can basically update their website at any time. It's not like the FAA where it's a super bureaucratic process. In fact, the person that updates the website may not be working right now, so that could also be why, because it's kind of late in the evening. So we'll see what happens tomorrow, and hopefully, if the road closure goes up, that'll be another good sign. But the TFR, which is the thing that's harder to get, is already posted for Sunday. They would not be closing the airspace. At least they would not be closing that amount of airspace if they were not seriously planning at least the possibility of a flight, because that's going to impact a lot of commercial airlines and whatnot. So the fact that a flight restriction is up is a pretty good sign that SpaceX at least thinks it's possible to potentially fly on Sunday.
Gotcha. So stay tuned. Basically, there's a
Yeah.
possibility that it may go, but again, nobody knows for sure. I don't even know if SpaceX knows for sure yet, but they're
Yeah.
certainly working towards getting the test done. That's for sure.
I mean,
This
there's.
angle
Go ahead,
is
Jack.
so cool. I know I'm interrupting. I'm sorry, but
Oh, that's
this
okay.
looks so awesome. You can see a ship going by there, some kind of small boat. This
Yeah.
looks awesome.
Oh yeah. That's there's like a little shrimp boat going by or something like that. So we swapped over real quick.
This is like
So,
straight out of science fiction. What a cool shot.
dude, you sound like you're straight out of science fiction. Honestly, that's a robot joke, y'all.
Yeah.
Sorry. Um,
I was gonna quickly add. Yesterday morning, Thursday morning, we woke up and we thought the 15-kilometer Starship SN8 test flight was going to be today. This morning, we woke up, we thought the now 12.5-kilometer test flight was going to be Monday. As of now, we think the 12.5-kilometer test flight could be Sunday afternoon or evening. So who knows where we will be at this time tomorrow. But we will be doing an NSF Live again from Boca Chica Saturday. Our normal scheduled, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern live show we do most weekends on Saturday is on for tomorrow, and we will do another stream just like this where we update you on the test flight status and answer any questions about the current status. So tune in again then, and I have a feeling we'll have some update to provide because I'm sure plans will change again between now and then. But I think we'll probably do regular update live streams until this flight happens, because it seems like there's a lot of anticipation, at least according to the amount of questions we're receiving right now.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll speed run some more questions here. Y'all know how this always goes. We're like, oh, let's go live. How long will we go live for? And it's like an hour or something. And then, we always run out of time. It happens with NSF Live all the time. So we are not planning on making everybody stand outside on the roadside all night long here, y'all. But we're going to see if we can run through a couple more questions and stuff like that. Let me see what I can grab really quickly. I'm going to try to keep them to SN8 questions specifically, Let's grab this one real quick. Martin Smith saying, to get SN8 out of the belly flop and back to vertical, do they have to fire the engines in the nose? So thrusters in the nose, have they tried firing them yet? Is that mostly aerodynamic? Is that mostly Raptors doing the flip?
I know I'm a robot, but I think Elon said on Twitter that the flip is accomplished mostly with Raptor thrust vector control, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, correct.
Gotcha. So
Beep,
thrusters,
boop, I'm a robot.
actually, we could hear you just fine because you said you were going to be a robot. But the thinking on that is that it's the main engines in the back and the fact that they can thrust vector those main engines a little bit that'll let it flip back around, and aerodynamic control from the flaps. We've seen them test thrusters before. We know that they have thrusters. We've seen them do some thruster firings and stuff like that, but we don't think for that specific maneuver that is going to be a large part of that maneuver. How are we doing on time, y'all? I know we've got all sorts of other videos and stuff like that that need to get uploaded. I know Jack's been taking photos all day. He probably needs to get back to civilization. Beep Boop the
I know
robot
I
doesn't
need
seem
to. Yeah, I know I need to get going for final stuff for a CRS-21 tomorrow morning.
Oh, that's right, because you're
Yes.
rolling down to the Cape for an 11 something launch, right?
Yes, 11:39:41, I believe, is what I saw. Yes, is the
Excellent.
liftoff time.
So we're planning on streaming that, aren't we?
Oh yes.
I asked the question like I didn't spend an hour with Chris earlier making sure that his broadcast rig was all ready to go. Jeez,
Don't
Chris,
give
are
away
we
the
going to stream that?
secrets.
Okay. Well, Chris, if you need to hop off now and we'll start wrapping things up with super chats and stuff. Folks, Chris Gebhardt there, assistant managing editor for NASA Spaceflight. Chris, thank you so much for hopping in and joining us this evening.
My absolute pleasure, and I will see y'all tomorrow morning.
All right, we will. We'll join Chris Gebhardt from the Cape tomorrow for that CRS launch. He is rolling out, and we'll have another broadcast rig at Cape Canaveral so that we can bring you live coverage of that launch tomorrow morning Eastern, or almost noon Eastern Standard Time. But Chris, thank you so much again for dropping in. Like I said, y'all, we do need to start wrapping this up here so that we can bring, so we can get everybody back home, get things uploading and stuff like that. Let me just clear out the super chat queue really quickly. Matthew, thank you for the support. Matthew Alder there. Jeffrey Witt is a member. Thank you, Jeffrey. Welcome to the Space family. I don't know, but this is the family you choose whenever you choose to subscribe. So we appreciate the support. Boom Baby Chase says DOS equals Skynet? Question mark. Jack loves auto-tune, apparently. It's auto-tuned the commentary instead of the news. Thank you, Boom Baby. For the curly L's, Hendrick snapping in again with another 10 euro question. Let me see here. Do you think they eventually want to make Starship weatherproof so it can take off and land even if there's strong weather, wind, rain, etc.? And if so, when do you think this is going to happen? We know that rockets are super susceptible to weather conditions, winds, wind shear, lightning rules, flying through clouds, all the different things that you hear rockets get scrubbed for. We see Soyuz rockets launch in the snow sometimes, right? So is Starship at any point going to become an all-weather rocket? That's not anything I've ever heard Elon talk about. Some of the cadences that he wants would certainly require it to be a lot more flexible with its launches. But Jack, have we ever heard Elon say anything about, or Jack or Michael, have we ever heard anything officially on that? I don't recall anything.
I don't think so, but I mean, it's a fantastic question because airliners, when we talk about this a lot, airliners can operate in, whiteout conditions.
Yep.
They can operate in a wide range of weather conditions. If there's a 30-knot crosswind, they can crab into the landing strip and, land even if there's a gnarly crosswind. So that is definitely something that will have to happen for rockets, especially as you said, Das, with the cadence that they're going to need. I mean, five launches to refuel a single Starship, and then they want to launch multiple Starships. I mean, we're talking about hundreds of launches here. And if some percentage of days of the year, 30% of the days of the year, you can't launch because weather doesn't permit, well, then you need to make weather permit. And I will say, I do wonder who did the site survey for Boca Chica, and like who decided this was a good launch site, because it's very windy and it's it's like any place. I feel like there's a common denominator between launch sites and having interesting weather. I mean, Kennedy Space Center has hurricanes, so does Boca Chica. Vandenberg has the fog and all of that. So I don't know. It's tricky. It'll definitely have to be something that happens. Although, like you said, I don't think we've heard anything official about it yet. Hopefully, we do soon. That's like a good thing, a good item to tick off for like a Elon making a bullet point list for the next Starship presentation or update online or whatever that ends up being. Is what's the weather capabilities here? What can it do in what kind of weather?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, especially with some of the cadences where you have X number of starships operating, we've seen even with the launches that we have right now, how much weather can enforce that. I mean, everybody remembers Scrubtober, Scrub Timber, No Launch November, like whatever you wanted to call them. Just a lot of weather, a lot of the times weather sort of helping or hurting things there. And we've also seen some launches scrubbed due to recovery zone weather. So reusable rockets, wow, amazing, all the rage. But not only does the launch site weather have to be ready to go, if you're going to land that rocket on a drone ship, you have another area of the globe that you need good weather on. So the weather, as we launch more and more rockets, what a problem to have, right? The weather becomes more and more important in terms of keeping those schedules from getting all backed up. It's like sitting on the runway, you got 15 planes backed up because you're on a weather hold. So I think that's something that they're certainly going to be looking at. I think maybe they'll get a little bit more variance. I wonder how the size of Starship will affect things, right? Well, Starship being so big, made of stainless steel, will that make it more resilient?
That makes me wonder too. Like it's like a cruise ship, right? A cruise ship can go out in a wave that would make a dinghy balk or whatever. It's
Yep.
it's like a cruise ship of the sky, really more like a yacht, I suppose. But yeah, hopefully its mass, its sheer bulk, enables it to sort of muscle through a little bit of that wind shear in the upper level winds or what have you.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just, again, it's one of those really good questions that makes you think, and I like thinking about this stuff. That's sort of why we're all here, right? Judy Jones, thanks for the $5. We appreciate the support. Richard Garnish, welcome to the Space family. We appreciate you joining the membership there. Jim Please says beep boop. We appreciate you, Jim. Thank you for that. Matthew Crichton sneaking through saying, spotted any SpaceX cameras set up for flight. Look, we don't camera intel, all right? Like, those aren't our cameras to announce. we will. I'm sure we will see some SpaceX cameras and other things like that. Heck, we haven't even announced all our own cameras yet, so I'm not. I don't want to out SpaceX on what their plans are. And then, lastly, in the super chat queue here, this is actually a membership. Michael, thank you so much. Welcome to the membership team. I don't even know what to say there. Whatever. We appreciate the support. Thank you so much for joining us here and supporting all of our wacky ideas. Did I miss anything, y'all? I mean, to recap, we continue to watch Starship. We know that the FAA has given some closures for Sunday, but the road closures haven't come out for Sunday, so we're not sure exactly what that means. Monday looking pretty good. We're watching the weather. We're hoping that Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, this thing hops. We talked about the fact it's been spooled back just a little bit. Used to be 15. Well, it used to be even higher than 15. Then it was 15 kilometers. And the most recent information is pointing towards a 12-ish kilometer hop, 12.5 maybe. So will that get dialed down a little bit more? Are we going to wake up tomorrow and hear 10 kilometers? If you're interested in what's going to happen, we will certainly be here watching and sharing all that with you. Steven, thank you for the membership as well. Thanks for the support. But we do appreciate there's Cetronics as well. Welcome to Padret there. I think that's the end, though. I think we've covered everything we need. Did I miss anything?
It's a beautiful sunset. Now we've got the sci-fi Blade Runner kind of look going on. We've got a lens flare. J.J. Abrams will be proud.
Absolutely. And Jack, congratulations! We finally got your camera feed online.
Hooray!
It took a lot of work to get that thing set up, but it has been some fantastic views here this evening. So thank you for rolling out there. Been in Boca Chica for a week and doing pictures, taking photos, cleaning up the beach, running all over Tarnation. We appreciate everything you're doing out there, Jack. Thank you.
No worries. Happy to do it. It's an honor and a pleasure.
Yeah, hope you're having a good time.
Absolutely.
And then let's see here. Michael was on. Chris is already off. Michael, thank you for everything you've been doing. Michael's been a massive help getting all this stuff set up, y'all. All the overlays and everything like that. When we put on questions on the screen and that sort of thing, that is Michael Baylor's work. Michael, thank you for everything you do to make this happen.
No problem.
Good deal. Everybody, y'all know that you need to put some thanks into chat for Boca Chica Gal. All those daily videos, all the live streams that we've been so spoiled on, all of that made possible because of the dedication of Mary out there. Still lives in Boca Chica, has what I think is probably more cameras than she can shake a stick at. And she is out there every day using those cameras to share what is happening with Starship development, welding stainless steel together, building the facility, putting up the high bay, cranes being assembled, things rolling down the road, concrete being smoothed. You name it. If there's something going on out there at Boca Chica, the production site or the test facility, Boca Chica Gal, the original Boca Chica gal out there. Mary, thank you so much. That's what I like to see in chat. Everybody saying thanks to Mary because she sort of started all this. The entire concept of being able to bring you this level of coverage is because of Mary. So thank you, Mary, for everything you do as well. And lastly, I'm John Galloway with NASA Spaceflight. We'll go ahead and be signing off for the evening. Twitch, I love you as well. All the subs and stuff like that. Journeyman, Coasty, Umbroso, Taco 1011. Did I miss any others? Max McSween, Econ Greg, everybody that did resubs and subs over there on the Twitch side. I am juggling a lot of stuff, and I appreciate y'all understanding. I want to share this with y'all, but I'm not always over there catching those in real time. But for NASA Spaceflight, we'll go ahead and be signing off here this evening and look for us tomorrow. There is a possibility we may put this long range camera, keeping an eye on the Starship over the course of the day tomorrow. We'll see if we can maybe spool up a sign and create a little NASA Spaceflight fan hangout where y'all can sit and chat and ask some questions. We wouldn't be doing commentary all day long, but this camera's deployed. I've got it connected online. Let's see if maybe we'll spool up a stream for y'all in the morning to hang out and chat. Also, launch tomorrow from the Cape. We'll be live streaming that. Also, NSF Live tomorrow, too. We'll be doing an NSF Live episode in the afternoon. So, a lot of live streams coming your way, daily videos and stuff like that. I should stop talking now, and we should go ahead and shut down the stream. This is the NASA Spaceflight team signing off for the evening. We will see y'all tomorrow. Later, nerds.
Chamber pressure looks good.
Following up. Roger, roll, Atlantic. Flight downside of speed off.
Yikes. You bet. Concur. We don't need any more of these.